Okay, now that we're all caught up, I'll call the Planning Commission meeting for October 17th to order. First order of business is the roll call.
Vice Chair Harrison,
Here.
Secretary Burbaker,
Here.
Commissioner Timmons,
Here.
Commissioner Lockett, and Commissioner Gola votes.
Here.
Okay, we have no minutes to approve, is that correct?
Correct.
And consent calendar, we have no consent calendar items. So next thing on the agenda is the Brown Act Public Forum. That would be a chance for anybody who does not have an item on the agenda to speak to the council about that item. We can't take action on it, but we can hear from, I know this guy.
Yes.
So do we have any people online or just the one speaker
No
here?
people online, just Cordell.
Okay.
That's me. So good evening, Vice Mayor Harrison, commissioners. My name is Cordell Hendler, and I'm a Richmond resident. So nice to meet you, Commissioner Luckett and Commissioner Timmons. So I was watching the last meeting, and I was very disappointed that the proposed warming center that was on the agenda, I was the only one that was aware of the project, because some of the concerns that I had raised regarding this site, it was in the staff report, which I do appreciate it, because I looked at that site and I said, and that's a potential a hazard, because cars have gotten broken into a number of times, and that location itself it does not fit with the image. So, because Park Plaza Neighborhood Council, we were not aware of it, neither does Pullman, and we were not aware of the project that was taking place. And so I was the only one that figured it out, and I said it was on the agenda. So I'm like, okay, that was a surprise. So that was one issue. Then the second concern is that pre-COVID, I had raised concerns regarding the proposed Making Waves expansion at the time when the Aspire Academy folks came, and I read the staff report, and the HOAs were in favor of this project, but the one group that was not on the list was Fairmead Hilltop, because they had raised concerns, like the traffic would be congested. It was like as soon as you get up to Hilltop Mall Road at 3 p.m., it gets backed up, and that's really an issue. And then so I will say this for the record, that whenever projects come before the Planning Commission or the Design Review Board, the applicant must first talk to the neighborhood councils, to provide our input, because if this project, which you will discuss in a minute, I already looked at the project, and so I'll just leave it at that for when that item comes up. So that's it.
Thank you, Cordell. We'll continue to work with staff to make sure the neighborhood councils get notified. That comes up from time to time. Okay, any other speakers for public forum?
Nobody in person and nobody online.
Okay, then we'll move on to the next item. We only have one new item this evening. It's PLN 24-207, the Sid Tech Beauty College. So at this point, we'll hear a staff report.
Yes, I'd like to introduce Pete Seabram, our assistant planner with the city of Richmond. He will present the project this evening.
Hello, good morning, commissioners, good evening, commissioners. This is PLN 24-207 Sid Tech Beauty College. It's a request for a conditional use permit to establish a cosmetology vocational school at an existing tenant space in the McDonald 80 Shopping Center. The recommended action is to hold a public hearing and to adopt Resolution 2410 approving this project. The project site is located on a 52,000 square foot parcel in the McDonald 80 Shopping Center. The applicant proposes tenant improvement of 3,150 square foot tenant space. Some notable tenants in this entire plaza is Target and Mechanics Bank, noted on the graphic here, and some of the building tenants are DaVita Dialysis, GameStop, and Cuts, Curls, and More, which is on the right tenant space marked in the graphic here. This is where Sid Tech Beauty College will be taking place. The zoning of this site is CM3, commercial mixed use. The proposed use for colleges and vocational schools are conditionally permitted in this zoning district. The operating characteristic with the proposed use, such as hours of operations, parking demand, and potential noise impact, do not adversely affect the surrounding businesses. The proposed use complies with the commercial emphasis of this zoning districts. Some surrounding use are commercial, residential, and it is abutted by the Richmond Greenway. The applicant proposes a cosmetology vocational school in an existing tenant space. The school will host about 30 students and will be operated by 3 teachers, 2 staff members. Inside the building, there will be 3 rooms and 2 bathrooms, one being mainly the main classroom, and another room providing us a break room, another room for waxing. There are new business signs proposed for this project. However, it is reviewed administratively and is not subject to Planning Commission approval. The operating hours proposed for this beauty college is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Saturday, as the school will be holding classes in the morning and evening. The school will be operating all year round with new students enrolled every 2 months. And this institution will be providing job training in barbering and cosmetology, as well as providing affordable hair, skin, and nail beauty services to the local community. Provided here is the parking requirement provided by the applicant. As you can see highlighted here, the minimum parking required for Sid Tech is 5 spots, and the total required parking for all tenants in the site, which all share one large parking lot, is 479 compared to the available, which is approximately 1,000 spots. So with the new tenant of Sid Tech, the parking requirements would be met. As for public comments, there are currently no comments from the from Park Plaza Neighborhood Council, and no other public comments has been received to date. And I believe we do have one speaker regarding comments for the project. And for the findings listed here in the attached resolution, all the findings have been met or conditionally met. Thus, staff is recommending approval for the project. The Planning Commission's action on this item is subject to City Council appeal, which will end on 5 p.m. on October 28, 2024.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions for staff at this time? If so, we'll go ahead and ask.
Thank you for the presentation. I was wondering why, what is it that triggers a conditional use permit on this project?
So in the zoning ordinance for commercial mixed use, it requires a conditional use permit for colleges and vocational school.
So
My guess is that we will look at parking and traffic control. In this case, there's a lot of parking at this site. It's mostly empty. I was actually just there earlier today getting dinner. And yeah, there's a lot of parking spots available, and it does meet all the requirements.
So it's the educational use that requires a use permit?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see, you mentioned signage. That's interesting. That is an administrative permit on
Yes.
signage. And
Yes,
since
this-
it is in our package, I'm just wondering what was the conclusion of staff about the signage that's proposed?
Yeah, so the signage do meet all design guidelines requirements in the sign ordinance. So staff is recommending approval of the signs.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, then I'll open the public hearing, and at this time, an opportunity for the project proponents to give us your pitch. So is there someone from your group that wishes to speak to the council or commission, excuse me? Or you're just you can be satisfied with what the staff has said and hope for the best? I don't think you have anything to worry about. So no one's wishing to come forward? And there's no people in opposition, so if that's the case, going once, going twice.
We just have one comment card from Cordell.
Cordell?
I like the way you said council. That's it. That sounds better. So, good evening again, Vice Mayor Harrison, commissioners. Let me state it for the record. I am Cordell Hendler, and I'm a member of the Park Plaza Neighborhood Council. And so, thank you, Pete, for that presentation. So, one of the things that I don't think it was mentioned is is security. And so when I'm thinking that, listening to the presentation, I'm thinking that they need to have security, on site. So I'm hoping that staff would have have some sort of security around the premises, because it would be very helpful not only for the staff but for the customers that come in there. So that's one. And then the second part is I don't have no objections to this project. I don't have no objections. And so the neighborhood council and we have spoken about this, and we said it's a great idea for DTEC to come into the neighborhood, because it is good for everyone to come and to get their hair done, their nails done, all that stuff. And so I'm in 100% in favor of this project. So it's up to you, Vice Mayor Harrison, and commissioners to approve the project as presented by staff, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. If there are no other comments, let me close the public hearing. And I would assume, related to the question about security, I would assume that the property itself, the entire property, has some kind of a security program that covers the entire acre plus of the site, and that this project would benefit from that security. Is that a valid assumption?
Yes, valid assumption, correct.
Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion among the commissioners?
Yes. Can I go? Does anybody else? Thank you. So you both planners here, I don't think have been at our planning commission before. I don't know if you have in the past. But I will say, that's just a preface to say that, in the past, everyone expects this from me. But I always look at a project with an eye towards active transportation. And there was no mention of bicycle parking. There's a lot of mention of car parking. And I am wondering if it made me wonder if the zoning code actually includes requirements for bicycle parking. And if not, I'm kind of wondering why not. But that is a kind of a big issue for me, and I think it's a big issue for the city of Richmond. And I think that bicycle connectivity to this site is pretty good. The rear of the property has the bike path on it, so it's not far away. So that's my comment. I don't know if you have a response regarding required bike parking or not, but I'd love to hear.
Yes, so to my knowledge, currently, I'm not aware of any bicycle parking requirements in this zoning districts. However, I don't believe that there's bike parking available at this plaza. I can discuss with the applicants on potential things they can provide to accommodate for bicycle parking at this site. I think that would be a great addition to the site. So I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
So to the commission, I think I would like to add a condition to have the applicant provide some minimal amount of bike parking. It's not expensive to put a rack and bolt it down to the ground. So I would like to make a condition. I mean, there was so much conversation about car parking that it seems only appropriate that there be some kind of equivalent bicycle parking required. So I would like to make it a condition for, let's say, 3 secure bicycle parking rack to be part of the project.
3 bike rack,
Be 3 bicycle, 1 rack, 3 bicycles,
3 bike rack.
minimum. If you want to do more, that's fine.
Okay, is there any objection to us adding that condition to the project? Is that something you're gonna go along with? Yeah, yeah, it'd be good probably to get it on the record, yeah.
I appreciate that, and no, we'll follow through with that condition, and seems very reasonable. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any further comments or discussion from commissioners?
Just a comment on the bicycle parking. Are you amenable to having the final design of the bike 3 stalls or the 3 bike rack be approved by the zoning administrator, or would you like it to be returned?
Approved by staff.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay,
ensure that it doesn't get in the way of the accessible paths of travel, et cetera. It's not hampering circulation, et cetera.
Of course.
okay, so I guess we've closed the public hearing, so I guess, or if there's no other good discussion, we're ready for a motion and a second.
I will move to approve the PLN 24207 Sid Tech Beauty College application with the conditions as stated in the staff report, as well as an additional condition for a bicycle rack parking 3 bicycles to be approved finally by staff.
So that's adopting the resolution 2410.
Yes, thank you. Adopting Resolution 2410.
Okay, and the associated conditional use permit. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, we could have a roll call vote.
Vice Chair Harrison,
Yes?
Secretary Burbaker,
Yes,
Commissioner Golovets,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Lockett.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. We look
good
forward
luck.
to-
It seems like a good project.
Yeah. Okay, next on our agenda is commission business, election of officers. It's been about a year since we've had this on the agenda now for about a year. What's the process?
I confirmed with James Atencio that yes, you can hold your election this evening. You have quorum and there are enough of you to do so. So as far as process, I'll let James.
Lay it out for us.
Sure, thank you. We'll consolidate the process. Typically, we have a nominating committee established, and then that committee solicits interest for the officers. But here, I guess, given the size of the planning commission and the need for the election of officers, what we can do is have the commission effectively serve as, the nominating committee. And you can all determine and just discuss informally whether anyone wants to nominate someone else for, take one position at a time, whether somebody wants to nominate themselves for that position, and then once the nominations have closed, the commission as a whole can vote on each officer.
So you just go through position by position.
Correct, whichever order is preferred. Go.
Do you drive that process, or do I need to drive that process?
You should drive that process.
All right.
But I can,
No, I just
I'm here to
didn't-
help
Didn't know
along
what
the way.
process was here.
Right.
Okay, let's start with chairperson for the commission. Are there any nominees for chairperson?
Yeah, I nominate John Harrison for chair.
Are there any other nominees? All right, close nominations for chair, and thank you. Appreciate it.
Do we vote each week?
I'll call roll. Vice Chair Harrison,
Yes?
Secretary Burbaker,
Yes.
Commissioner Golovitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
and Commissioner Lockett.
Yes.
Okay, that one's handled. So next we will open nominations for vice chair. Are there any nominations?
Do I nominate him?
You do.
I nominate Bruce Brubaker.
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, we'll close the nominations and have our vote.
Chair Harrison,
Yes?
Secretary Burbaker,
Yes.
Commissioner Golovitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
and Commissioner Lockett.
Yes.
Okay, and so that one's, congratulations. We're at 2 down and 1 to go. We are open nominations for secretary. Are there any nominations?
You asked me if I would do it.
Would
You
you?
did, yeah, I will.
Yeah, we
I've
got
done-
that far, but then they
You
never.
did, or somebody did.
They never
It was
got it.
months ago.
So I will nominate Gay Timmons for secretary.
Any other nominations? I'll close the nominations and we'll have a vote.
Chair Harrison,
Yes?
Vice Chair Burbaker,
Yes.
Commissioner Golovitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
and Commissioner Lockett.
Yes.
All right, congratulations. I'm
That
just
wasn't too
curious,
hard.
why can't this be done by acclamation?
Meaning,
There's no other nominees, so by acclamation, the one nominee is selected.
It possibly can, I don't know, this is what, I guess I'm used to, so I just like to be consistent with past.
Just curious.
Probably right.
Yeah, just curious. Okay, thank you, everyone, for going through that process. And now we have reports of officers and commissioners or staff. Does anybody have anything? Actually, why don't you introduce yourself to us? Know a
let's
little-
all introduce each other.
Okay. So the new person has to start.
Yeah.
This is the rule.
Rachel Lockett, very happy to be here, join you guys. I hope I can contribute to the committee.
What is your background and what do you do in real life?
okay.
I'm curious.
I'm a program manager for BART. I'm currently working on multiple projects for the expansion of the rail system. I'm currently working on earthquake safety and the expansion of BART to San Jose, other little projects, mainly with the gas line for the yards.
Sounds like you're busy.
Very busy.
That's great, that's great.
So my background is, although I'm not a licensed engineer, I've been working on structural and civil engineering projects, so.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm Alexander Golovets. I am a transplant from Zhoshine Commission at the mayor's request. In normal life, I'm an attorney.
I'm John Harrison. Been on this about 4 years now, maybe. My background's in city planning, and I've had prior experience on planning commissions and city council, so I can bring that kind of managing of meeting stuff to this more or less.
I'm Bruce Brubaker. I am also a planner, and I lead an urban design practice in Berkeley for PlaceWorks. And I've been on the commission longer than anyone else, I think, maybe 5 years. And been a resident of Richmond for 30. and I see a lot of potential in Richmond, so I'm happy to be on the commission.
Where were you from? Did you grow up around here?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
you are a foreigner.
Yeah.
My name is Gay Timmons, and I have a small business here in Richmond. I've lived here for about 11 years. When did I start? Like at the beginning of last year?
Yeah,
Or
about
the
a year, a little over a
Yeah,
year.
about a year, or maybe a little bit more. I finished somebody else's term.
I think you and Alexander started about the same time.
Yeah, yes, and I work with chemists
Oh,
primarily.
microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I primarily work with chemists. The business I own is that I sell, I'm a hardcore environmentalist, let's put it that way. I sell certified organic and other sorts of environmental standard ingredients to cosmetic manufacturers. So I pretty much talk to chemists all day, many days, or people who have lots of questions about the chemists. Those are the other people I talk to.
Is your business in Richmond?
Yes, yes, that's why I was interested. Yeah, I'm over in South 50th. I like to think of it as the art place. So they put in the new Eames Institute
Yeah.
archive.
You're in that building, or the?
No, I'm across, I'm
group?
like a block up behind them. My daughter, one of the women who works there went to Pratt, and my daughter was just out from New York, and she went to Pratt, so she got a little sneak visit. And they're having a little open house for the neighborhood, which I'm really excited to see.
Do you guys know about that?
Nope.
Are you
Yeah, so
interested
there's-
in modern design?
It's incredible. You can arrange a meeting, and then there's another whole building that's a group of people who do art. One guy does sculptures from glass and metal and one, a bunch of different things. And then the building on the corner is it's a bunch of rooms for different kinds of artists. And then they store a lot of the stuff for Burning Man. It's very fun to watch the trucks go in and out. Last year, not so much, a lot of mud. It's a really interesting, weird little neighborhood there. And then there's a recording studio a friend of ours has.
It's expensive to get in the Eames.
You want to use your mic?
The Eames,
They actually
Yeah.
record this.
Oh, sorry.
what's expensive?
I was reading about it, super excited. I collect, mid-century furniture.
Oh, you
But
need to go.
I remember seeing like the entrance fee was like almost $100.
Yeah, it's like $90 or $100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think that they call me, I'm in the friends and family group.
Yeah, okay, well, you'll have to invite the planning commission, although it would be a Brown Act violation, wouldn't it? So-
Well, as long as we don't talk about business, it's
Yeah,
not.
no, it's not business. It's
Social-
just-
a social
this
thing can
is
be a lot of
totally
things.
art.
Talk about
It's
this.
amazing. My daughter was just over the moon. She got a quick
Cool.
tour and
And
she's
Um,
out of her mind.
do we have the,
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
I'm not familiar with either of you. I should be, but I'm not.
Yeah, well, good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Avery Stark. I joined the City of Richmond 2 months ago, almost to the date. I joined as the principal planner overseeing the planning division, current planning team. And then with Hector Rojas's departure to the city of Vallejo, I have graciously stepped in as acting planning manager in the interim, and will continue to do so until that changes otherwise. I previously came from the city of Milpitas. I'd been in the South Bay for 7 years with them, and then prior to that, I'd been with the state of Minnesota. I was a transplant from Minneapolis with my husband 8 years ago now. And then this is Pete Seabram. He is an assistant planner with the city as well, and I'll let him say a little bit more about himself.
Hello, commissioners. Hello, I'm Pete Severum. I'm an assistant planner with the planning division. I've started with the city of Richmond about 7 months ago. And this is my first planning commission meeting and planning commission item. So it's super exciting to be here. I grew up in Pinot, so I'm very familiar with the Richmond area and, all of Richmond's needs and potential for growth. So I'm really excited to be working in my community and being a part of its success and growth.
Could I ask a question? Where did you go to school?
UC Davis.
UC Davis. Oh, well,
Yes, go Wags.
You're an old hand, aren't you?
Thank you. Yeah. I will also add that the planning division is also adding new staff as well. So we're in the process of recruiting for a new senior planner who will help oversee the Historical Resource and Historical Preservation Commission, also long-range planning and policy. And then we have just made offers to 2 new planning technicians who will begin their careers in the planning field in about a month from now. So they will be some new people that we will introduce at various times throughout. If you see us up at City Hall, we'll be sure to say hi, but we'll be sure to bring them by and introduce them to the next planning commission if they're on board by then.
Great.
Yes.
Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
And Mr. Atencio.
Good evening for those of you that don't know me. James Atencio, Senior Assistant City Attorney in the City of Richmond. Been with the city for 12 years now, again, as of, I think, yesterday. And I've been staffing the Planning Commission on and off for the past 6 years, I think, more or less. And just happy to be here, happy to see all of you, and look forward to spending more time with you all. I know it's been on and off for the past a year or so, but I anticipate being here more frequently the next months. So,
Great, thanks, James. And welcome to this new staff and the new commissioner. We're glad to have pretty much close to a full house finally. 2 more commissioners, but we'll get them eventually. So we're cooking with gas finally. That's good. Okay, any other comments anyone wishes to make? Okay. Then I think we're done. I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:02.
Awesome. Man, that was fast.
Yeah.
Nice and very good. I like it.